And I think the research shows very clearly that if you have a society with lots of inequality, you lose a lot of social cohesion, and people no longer believe in the values of society so much. So that causes lots of issues, social unrest, crime. It affects people's health and well-being. People lose faith in politics, and so it can create lots of tensions and political conflict. So I think across the world we're finding increasing numbers of people doubting the value of their national governments, and it's a very worrying situation. If a national government really wants to try and tackle inequality, there are things you can do. Taxation, there have been few governments prepared to increase taxation in recent decades, but actually that can make a difference. And I do believe that thinking about a wealth tax, thinking about tax on high incomes, thinking about inheritance tax is important. I also think you can think about levels of inequality in people's wages and income levels. And Brazil has been very unequal for many, many years, I think, and I think it reflects lots of things. It reflects the history of, the colonial history, the power of big landlords, big industrialists, the bourgeoisie. And, there was some change during the last 15 years, but clearly there's a strong entrenched interests wanting to keep inequality the way it is. And so, there's still a lot to do to try and change that. A few South American countries have been successful, and they've done it. I mean, it's easier to reduce inequality if you've got a high degree of inequality in the first place. So many South American countries have a history of high inequality, and therefore by raising standards for the poor, then you can, by conditional cash transfers to people who are poor, you can make a bit of a difference. But there often are seen to be limits of how far you can go, and I think. Some European countries have been successful at keeping taxation high on high earners. So in France, in some of the Scandinavian countries, inequality has been kept relatively low. In a society where some people have lots of advantages, then it creates a sense of frustration, anxiety. People feel alienated from society, and that can create a system where people feel, I've just got to commit violence to make my living.